It's official. David Fifita is signed with the Rabbitohs, so 2-year deal to get him out of the Gold Coast. The Titans will chip in $500,000 spread over 2 years, apparently, so $250 a year. He had 1 year left on his Titans contract, so big decision there from Josh Hannay. Firstly, from a South Sydney perspective, do you like the move?
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So we're probably guessing that he's getting about, what do you reckon, $650 a year from the Rabbitohs?
Yep.
About that? Absolute bargain. I think that what's not strange, but there's a lot of people that don't realise, like, his father passed away last year. So, everyone handles grief differently. And I just think that, was it the best year? No, it wasn't. But when your father passes away, I think you get a bit of an excuse for a bad year of footy. And so I'm really excited to see him get under Wayne. By everything that I've been told, he's in a bit of a better headspace at the moment. Wayne is the master of that. If I get a Fifita at 80%, playing at 80% on $650K a year, I'm laughing to the bank. I love it.
How does it fit in that South Sydney forward pack? Because I think some of the discussion point around them is their lack of middles. Keon looks like he's made that transition now to a middle. You've had Jai Arrow play on edge, but he wants to be a middle, and I think he's an elite middle. Tavita Totola was on track to be one of the game's best middles before injuries, but how does that forward pack look, considering you have Cam Murray at lock, Tallis Duncan in the mix as well?
See, I've actually been calling for Fifita to move in the middle probably for 2 years now.
Okay.
To simplify his game. I don't want him, thinking about 80 minutes of footy and conserving himself and worrying about having to make 40, 50 tackles. I probably want 30 to 40 minutes out of him, going on there in the back 20 minutes of each half and just going absolutely insane. Him and Cheese coming on together is a big 1-2 punch. I think they've got Tallis Duncan and Ewan Aitken that are both 80-minute edges. And the good thing about it is, like, Tallis Duncan or Ewan Aitken, touch wood, but they probably won't be fully fit all year long. So you've got him there ready to go. I just think he can become the most destructive player in the competition off the bench. Him and Cheese, that's a weapon off the bench. You go back and you look at when Storm won the comp, it was a lot to do with, when Storm went on that 19-game win streak, I'm pretty sure it was a lot to do with Harry Grant and Cheese 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that because of his price tag now. You don't feel compelled to play him for 80 minutes.
Nah, not at all.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to squeeze that lemon. It was $1 million player. You're one of the highest paid players at the Titan. Outside of Tino was the next highest paid player. So you're probably thinking, we need him on the park to play 80 minutes, right?
Yep.
So
I think as well, what's the knock on Fifita? That he comes in and out of games. You haven't seen him for 20 minutes, and then he just did a literally play of the year.
Yeah.
Whereas coming off the bench, he doesn't have time to do that. It's come on, rip, don't even worry about your gas tank, we can get you off. I truly believe he'll be brought through the middle. I don't think they need him on an edge. Like, Tallis Duncan in the back end of the year was one of the best back rows in the comp. And I know he played centre, but he was in between both. Yeah. I think that, put it this way, if I'm looking at a team sheet, I'm probably more worried of Cheese and Fifita coming off the bench at the 20-minute mark than I am a starting Fifita, because I just go, okay, he can break us apart, but we can spot him.
Okay, interesting. Braden says, afternoon legends, enjoying the show. Just want to say, as a long-term Titan supporter, I want to wish David Fifita all the best for his next chapter in his career. Thank you for your time with the Titans. So let's look at the Titans now. So it's been a big off-season for him. Josh Hannay's signed. They flirted with Craig Bellamy. That's not going to happen. Don't get me started,
bro. Don't get me started on that.
I'm going to get you started there.
Get me started.
Kieran Foran's retired. Fifita's gone. Alofi Khan Pereira has gone to the Warriors. So let's start with Craig Bellamy and the Gold Coast Titans.
Okay. You'll probably know more about this than me with the inside knowledge or whatever.
You're praying again.
I am, because honestly, it makes me angry. I'm from the Gold Coast. I want them to go well, but I just think they've been so poorly run for so long that it really frustrates me. And I thought with the Frizzels buying a majority share, at the very least, I don't know how the business is set up, whether it's more board seats or a majority share that gives them the power. I thought things would change. But when they came out last week and said, oh, no, it was always just a director's situation, that blows my mind, because if that's the case, why didn't you say that immediately? And also, that's essentially a non-story. Oh, the Titans are interested to Craig Bellamy become a general manager or a coach. Of course they do. Anyone outside of Penrith Broncos, maybe Roosters out of respect to Robbo, but really it's Penrith Broncos, they'd all want Craig Bellamy as a coaching director. I think it's been so poorly handled, and they just continue to do this, especially around coaches. So I understand why. It seems to me like Tino's gone, enough. I can't do it. I can't continue to do this. Now, this is just this incident with the Bellamy situation. First of all, if you undermine Hannay, I promise you, Hannay will remember this. I promise you he will. Like, I don't know him, but as a high achiever that had a lot of options before this, and I'd heard whispers that the Cowboys deal was almost done, but they decided to keep Peyton. I think he'll remember this, and I think that, let's say he does get the Titans to an 8th or something like that, and then a big dog club comes into the picture. I think he'll be like, you know what? I remember when I first came, when I didn't have the leverage. This is how you treated me. Now all of a sudden it's all anyway. So that aside, what happened the last time they got rid of a coach? They didn't tell their captain, and Tino was upset about it. And at the time, I was like, listen, ruthless business. They didn't want to leak it. I kind of get it. I said this yesterday. If you want to be ruthless, you've got to pay the price. And the price is either you've got a captain that will always remember that, or you win so many games that you go, okay, it was worth it. And I'll tell you a good example. Kevin Walters got sacked by the Brisbane Broncos. It was ruthless as anything.
Yep.
They won a premiership.
Agree. And the other thing, if you're going to be ruthless, you got to get your mark. You got to get your man, right? So having this innuendo all play out with Craig Bellamy, as you said, it has undermined Josh Hannay. It has made a bit of a circus, and no one's begrudging them for their pursuit of Craig Bellamy, right? But you know how many clubs have danced that dance with Craig?
It's honestly maybe a decade, you reckon? A decade of that? Maybe longer. And that's what frustrated me with the quote when whoever came out and he was like, oh, you can't begrudge us, looking at all avenues. It's like, bro, there's not a single person here that's going, how dare you look at the Craig Bellamy situation. The concern is that you already just signed the best young coach in the competition, and you're like, I didn't even know they announced it on Instagram until this year. I know Instagram doesn't mean everything, but like even that's like waiting that long to make it official. Anyway, so it's just all it's a shambles. I don't understand why they keep shooting themselves in the foot. But I applaud them in getting Hannay. I think that's a huge get. I think they deserve, even though they didn't handle it well, the fact that out of all three clubs that could have got him, so Knights, Cowboys, is there anyone else that probably was?
No, they're the two.
They're the two. Yeah. The Titans, honestly, I reckon the Titans would have been paying about $10, and probably the Cowboys paying $2, and the Knights paying $3 or $4, and they got him. That's great. That's great stuff. So hopefully they can turn it around.
So we touched on the big transfer news. David Fifita confirmed at South Sydney from the Gold Coast Titans for 2 years. Well, my man Brent Reid has got the story we've all been waiting for. DCE and his new contract details at the Roosters. So this story is now on the Daily Telegraph website. DCE will be unveiled next week as a Sydney Rooster. It's a $600,000 a year contract with a clause that would allow for a further 12 months. Still trying to work out who's got that clause. Who would you assume would have that clause, Denon? So he's locked in for 2026.
Got to be the Roosters, doesn't it?
I'd assume it'd be the Roosters. Yeah.
I guess this is pure speculation, but was that the sticking point that they were going back and forth on? Like, was it initially agreed 2 years, and then the Roosters were like, oh, you're not in as good nick as we thought?
You know what I feel? Honestly, what I feel like it was, and this is no knowledge of the situation, but he's paid up until October 31 as a Manly player.
Okay.
Right? So in his mind, maybe from November 1, it's a clean cut. I'm no longer a Manly player. I can be paraded in a Roosters jersey. I can be... I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
That has to be the only reason, because
you can still do that. You can still do that but I'm going to be there. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know, because I got sick of talking about it.
Yeah,
and speculating about it. So... But I feel that could be because there's no salary cap ramifications, right? Because the new contracts start November 1. So maybe it was just something that he felt going, all right, I'm still getting paid in October for Manly. It'd be the wrong thing to do. Don't know.
My guess is that Politis, I reckon they initially probably talked about 2 years, now that I know the details. Then when they saw his form, they were like, listen, we're still going to honour the deal, but like...
Slide it in.
Work with me here, because, look, to be honest, I just don't get the signing at all. I just
don't like it?
No, how many years do the Roosters have to be shown that Sam Walker needs to be the big dog? Like, how many times do they have to be shown that if you give Sam Walker the keys, they play top 6-ish footy? As soon as you make him kind of like be a second fiddle player, they just don't know who. Like, they tried it with Keary to bring him in. They just tried so many times, and I struggle to see how DCE is going to take it back. Now, does he play like a 6, DCE? He actually does. If you actually watch his play,
like a 6.
He plays like a 6 more than a conservative 7.
Yeah.
So can he play like it? But DC is so dominant. He's Mitchell Moses dominant, arguably more. Now, maybe with his years of experience, he can take that step back. But I just worry about, A, Hugo Savala was outstanding last year. But B, the key is Sam Walker because they're trying to build a premiership team around this Sam Walker. And he can't be second fiddle again, in my opinion.
I don't mind the signing.
Okay.
I just think
walk me through it.
Well, you look at, and you got to remember when they signed him, right? So his form.
Did they sign him though then, or did they just talk about it?
Nah, it was done.
Okay.
I don't know. But it's been done for months. Obviously, right?
Okay.
And there was something very cryptic around what DCE said at the time when people were saying, "Oh, it's about money." He goes, "Well, when the deal's done, essentially when you'll find out this is not about money." So 600,000 indicates that this is not about chasing the dollar. He would have earned more money to stay at Manly.
Yes, but I mean, there's some connections at the Roosters.
There are huge,
pretty good post footy.
He's set up nicely, right?
Yeah,
Post footy.
Look, I'm not saying it's about money, but in your last year of your career to land at Roosters, there's some good things about that.
Of course, yeah. There are some major benefits of being under the Nick Politis network, for sure, and the doors that can open there. But this was not a guy that...
would he land 600K at a tiny club?
No. If the Dolphins wanted him, he would have earned $1 million.
But no, like what I'm saying is let's say there's a tiny club out there right now that's like a premiership contender-ish. Like Roosters, it's very, wishy-washy.
I think the Dolphins are a premiership contender next year.
A premiership contender?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but let's talk about a genuine premiership contender.
Well, you add DC into that mix, and I genuinely believe they're a premiership contender. Have you seen their...
If they stay fit? Yeah, no.
Well,
if
they stay fit.
Yeah, but that's been their Achilles heel for years now. But, okay, do you reckon he would land at the... Okay, so you believe that they are a premiership contender. Why wouldn't he land there for 600K?
Because he'd maybe have to move his...
I think the connections help.
Yeah, of course, the connections
help. I think they help a little bit.
Of course. They definitely help. But it'd be interesting to see what it means. You got Hugo Savala, which you mentioned. Toby Rodwell is the guy that they've earmarked to be the long-term half there.
Who, sorry?
Toby Rodwell.
He's
a young kid.
Wow. Okay.
He's a young guy there to partner Sam Walker.
Yeah,
There's a long-term halves connection.
Did he play New South Wales Cup this year?
He played a little bit of New South Wales Cup,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'd be interested to see. Is he you know what? We did some a transfer show the other day. The number 6 is super weak at the moment. It's our weakest position in the NRL. When you look at the players that are off, here's a good one. Before Strange went on his crazy run, who was your Daly M6 of the year?
My 5/8 of the year was, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, man. Whereas every other position, boom, lock her in. Lock her in halfway through the year, pretty much.
Munster started the year well then faded. So if you said halfway point, I probably would have said Munster.
Okay. He's of the older generation. Like, really outside of Ezra Mam, it's really, and Dylan Brown had a down year.
Yeah.
Luai's moved to 7, whereas he was one of the better 6s. I think, anyway, I've derailed the conversation. The young fella coming through.
No.
I think 6 at the moment, it's a little bit like centre was a few years ago, where it was like, we had 1 or 2 really good ones, but that top, now obviously centres has changed, we've got some guns everywhere. I reckon number 6 has gotten a little bit lost in the last generation of focusing so heavily on 7, but all our best athletes play fullback now.
Yeah, 1, yeah.
And so I think 6 has got a little bit lost in the noise.
Jonah Pezet officially joins the Eels. Oh, I love your thoughts on this one, Denon.
Thank you.
Well, you're here next to me, so you may as well use you. Denon. Jonah Pezet.
I'm going to blush, sir. I'm going to blush, bro.
We're just going to get you off the Roosters, hating. So, Jonah Pezet out of the Melbourne Storm, off to the Parramatta Eels for 1 year before he takes up a long-term deal at the Brisbane Broncos. We've got Mark O'Neill saying, Jonah is one of the most exciting young talents in the game. He adds class and depth to our halves as we head into the 2026 season. Jonah will join us for a year, which makes us better now, whilst also allowing time for our emerging talent to continue their development through our pathways system. Our coach, Jason Riles, has previously worked with Jonah and knows firsthand the professionalism and impact he can have in a team environment.
Mate, it's a weird one because initially, as a Broncos man, I hated it because I was like, look, when I hate something, mate, because I'm cultured and quite learned, read a lot of books, I often look at what my biases are. And so when I hated the Pezet one, I was like, why do I hate this so much? And it was because I was already connected to Kobe Black. It was because I was already connected to Kobe Black. And I was like, when I really unpacked it, I was like, Kobe Black hasn't really done anything, whereas Pezet has, to a degree. What I like about the Pezet for the Eels specifically, and it took me kind of time to think that through because it is a bit of a strange one, but I think that they looked at Joash Papali last year, gave him an opportunity and saw he was still quite uncomfortable in that 6 role in the NRL. Look, I think Joash Papali is ready to play fullback in the NRL. I think he's a bloody good fullback. I just think that the Eels have gone, okay, he probably needs a bit of time. I really like the signing from the Eels. And I also just like the strong leadership. Like they are making decisions and being very strong about them. And they're unique decisions. They're decisions that are low percentage decisions. They're not safe decisions. We all look at last year at the people they moved on. Then we look at this with Pezet. I really like it. I love the direction that the Eels are going on. And I've been quite critical of the Eels for a few years now. Their administration since the grand final, I thought they got to the grand final with a certain recruitment plan, and I felt like they tried to use that same recruitment plan after a grand final, but you can't. You're in a different world.
Yeah.
So I was quite critical. However, since they've gotten Riles on board and given him the keys to the castle, I want to give the administration a lot of credit. It took a lot of guts to let Riles let the players he did go, at the start of this season. It's taken a lot of guts to go, okay, we'll bring Pezet here for 1 year. I like where the Eels are headed. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And more Jonah Pezet news. The Brisbane Broncos can announce that they've signed Jonah Pezet on a 3-year deal beginning in 2027. So Jonah Pezet, Simon Scanlon, the General Manager of Recruitment and Pathways, said, we're delighted to have secured Jonah's services to the Broncos for 2027 and beyond. Let's talk about Kobe Black.
Yes.
Okay, so he's probably the forgotten piece of this puzzle, the guy that's been long earmarked to be the long-term half at the Brisbane Broncos. I spoke to a rival club last week, and they were talking about halves, and they mentioned this is probably someone that will be on the market. Has to be on the market. He's a November 1 guy. I'd be shocked if he stays at Brisbane next year. Well, why would you stay?
This is an experience that I had, and obviously I'm no Kobe Black. I was just a winger doing my best. But you're at the premiership winning club. It's the biggest club by a huge margin in the NRL. You've just won a comp. You have the opportunity to form a combination in a couple of years with Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam. On top of all that, he's 19 years old. Just wait it out another couple of years, like Pezet did at the Storm. And who's to say that Pezet is a sure thing? We don't know whether let's say, for example, Ben Hunt or Reynolds gets injured next year. Kobe Black comes in and rips. Who's to say that he's locked into that starting spot?
Well, they got Tom Duffy there too now as well. So from who they've signed from North Queensland. So I don't see how he stays there next year.
Really?
Well,
you're a 19-year-old.
Yeah, because his pathway hasn't been blocked by Reynolds and Hunt. Because then you say obviously stay there. Okay. It's now been blocked because Ezra's got a long-term deal.
Yep.
Jonah Pezet's now got a long-term deal.
Is it 3 years?
3 years. So that's 4 years away, though.
Yeah, but he'll be 23, essentially.
Yeah.
23 is I think we've just been a bit bamboozled by Nathan Cleary's goatness pretty much as a teenager. But even Nathan Cleary, there was a year, 2019, mid-year, Penrith Panthers fans wanted Nathan Cleary gone and they wanted Ivan Cleary gone. Sam Walker, one of the brightest young talents, comes into grade, sets it alight, but he came in too early. Isaiah Katoa, the only reason why he's playing at the moment is because he's at a new club. When you actually look at it, the plan from Penrith, he would have been making not his debut, he would have debuted before that, but become the main guy this year.
Yep.
And so this idea that these young guys need to just be in first grade, and that's coming from a place of, I'm guilty of it. I was at the Broncos, I was playing NRL, they told me I was a third string winger. I felt I was good enough to be playing NRL, and I went to the Warriors when I shouldn't have. I should have stayed at an early 2000 Broncos side that's stacked. It's got everything you'd ever need, but I didn't. And also, the game's different these days. If you're Kobe Black and you're destined to be an NRL 7, even if you're just a good NRL 7, you're going to earn from 23 till 33, $800,000 a year. If you're so the money will come. Whereas back in the day, when a big contract came, you had to take it. Darren Lockyer was on $400K back in the day. That's not going to set you up for life. But if you're a Kobe Black level half, that is the next big thing. If you have to wait 3 years, and again, it doesn't mean you're going to wait 3 years. What if you reckon Madge is scared to select him over Pezet if he outdoes him in the preseason? We saw him do it with Shibasaki. Selwyn Cobbo has gotten moved. Selwyn Cobbo, one of the most talented young players in the competition, is no longer at the Broncos. Yeah. Shibasaki hopefully will get re-signed and might price himself out. So I think at least extend for 1 year, give yourself a bit of time and then just see the lay of the land. But you know what? I just don't think it's such a sure thing that Pezet is like locked in as the Broncos 7 for 10 years. He might be, but I haven't seen enough yet to be like, it's not like they're signing a established 7 like a Adam Reynolds or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like there'll be a club that dangles the carrot in front of him now and pounces. It's interesting. Jonah Pezet waited, right? And then with Jerome Hughes re-signing, it was time for him to move on.
What a great deal he got. Waited for the right deal.
And Isaiah
could have gone to the Knights.
Isaiah Yongi, you know how many reserve grade games he played?
Like 40 or something like 40,
50
50
reserve grade games. Which 19-year-old out of the best system
they
in
need
the game?
to.
That's what I'm saying,
mate,
right? So that's why
to.
Parramatta, within a week of watching him in preseason, knew he was ready for first grade because he had 50 reserve grade games under his belt.
It used to be the normal thing.
No one does that anymore.
No, mate. It used to be normal. It used to be you had to get, you apply your trade in reserve grade, but the market pressure on clubs now is so intense that they just go, come on in. Like, look at the Cowboys right now. They've got one of the best young talents in Purdue coming through. They're going to be forced to play him at 6 and also pay him 6 when he's probably not ready to be a 6 in the NRL yet. He's a gun centre. In a couple of years he might, but because of market pressure, they're going to have to play him at 6. Like, they are not going to be able to afford to lose a guy like Purdue.
So Adam Reynolds has had his say. Obviously, he's had the launch of his book, but he's had his say on the halves competition. This is from Peter Bedell in the Courier Mail. You across this, Brooksy?
Yeah. He had a few things to say about the competition and then his future. Firstly, with this Pezet thing, have you ever seen a player sign with 2 clubs at the same time? This is crazy.
Rugby league, I love it.
The 2 releases coming out simultaneously got me laughing.
What about
Melbourne sent one too, so we've got 3.
Right.
Jonah Pezet spam in my
I
inbox.
tell you what, I've always said, the more contracts Anastas signs for people, the more tanned he gets. He is getting more tanned by every contract he signs. He might be the most tanned man in Australia right now. Seriously. It's a bit of a winter and he's got the best tan in the world. What's going on with that?
Spent 2 weeks in Bali.
He's talking about a shaker and mover.
Right.
Hey?
Well,
I'll tell you what. When does he sleep?
He's done well.
Doesn't. He's a vampire.
Yeah, so what about Adam Reynolds and not so much the halves competition? What about his future, Brooksy? That's probably more interesting. Than...
The one thing from that quote that I got from Adam Reynolds, whether I am here or somewhere else, I don't know. I'm just focused on next year and getting myself right to go again. So it doesn't actually rule out departing the Broncos. Like the Broncos aren't his last destination.
I saw the clip of him kind of talking about it on Kevy Walters' podcast, Inside Ball, I'm pretty sure. Great podcast. And it sounded like it's coming from a place of, I just love playing footy. Like, I'll play foot. Like he said, I've joined like 2 Oz tag teams just because I want to keep playing with my kids, like footy with my kids. And so it just sounds like to me that Renault's like, listen, if I can play and get paid, I'll do it. That's what it seems like to me anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. He had that 2-year deal from the West Tigers that he knocked back to stay for another 12 months at Brisbane.
Terrible decision.
He can't beat the Broncos in 2027.
No, I don't think
Impossible.
so. To be honest, I think there'll be pressure. He's got to find a way, him and Ben Hunt next year, to allow Reece Walsh to essentially be the main man. Now, granted, I do think Renault can do it.
Yep.
And granted, Renault was pivotal in getting them to a grand final, and so was obviously Benny Hunt. But it does seem like the time has come. This is Reece Walsh's team now. So that's going to be interesting. I think after 27, I don't think he'll be at the club. They just got too many people they've got to bring through. Like, we haven't even spoken about Blake Moser. Like, Blake Moser, he was supposed to start this year at 9. I think he got injured. Then Billy Walters took the role. Billy Walters, an ACL. He's about 31 years old. But he's another guy that's close with Kobe Black that, they may have to be patient because he's a gun.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting but positive decisions to make for the Brisbane Broncos.
Do you think... I'm just going to throw this spanner in, right? Like the Jonah Pezet thing. Let's say Jonah Pezet plays well at the Eels and Kobe Black comes along well at the Broncos. And we're probably going to see 1 or maybe 2 of Hunt and Reynolds depart for 2027. Could you see a world where the Eels might go, hey, guys, we might want to extend this Jonah Pezet situation here at the Eels because you guys have got Cody Black. You guys don't want to see Black leave. And we might have a spot where Pezet can thrive.
Well, my understanding is that Pezet absolutely wants to be the big dog 7 that runs the team. So even if he's going well, I wonder whether he's like, I don't want to be a 6. I don't want to be playing second fiddle to someone else.
There was a level of, not doubt, but uncertainty whether, like, how dominant Mitch Moses is.
Yeah. I don't think they suit each other.
That's part of the thinking as well from Parramatta, a short-term deal. And because it's a short-term deal, I'm sure he's going to be happy to take a back seat, right?
For sure.
If it was a 5-year contract,
Knowing
he'd want
that
his
he's-
hand.
Honestly, I reckon if he doesn't, Mitch and Moses will will punch on the field.
On the field?
On the field. You reckon Mitchell Moses and he's calling for the ball and Pezet just keeps taking. He's like, yeah, no worries. I'll just, they will punch on. I don't know. I'm backing in that. I mean, probably Mitchie. I'm backing Mitchie in that one, I reckon.
He does love to spray. He can spray.
Back in I used to work at Fox Sports, and we were doing the nines over in Perth, and an idea was miking up one of the players during the games. And it was the year that Scotty Drinkwater went on and brained it. Semi-final, final. He's wearing the mic vest. For the Eels game, we got Mitch Moses mic'd up, and he brings me back the vest going, you probably can't use any of that. We went and watched the video, and it was just persistent.
That's the best.
Just giving it to his teammates. But
that's old school, baby.
Yeah.
What do you reckon Joey's vest would have been like? It would have been
exactly.
like, mate,
No
they would have to sink it in the sea so no one could ever listen to it.
Sink it in
Next to be bloody a summer.
Just on Adam Reynolds, he also revealed in his book that the Titans rejected his services. So another good decision there for the Titans. So since 2021, this is the way the Titans halves timeline for him. So in 2017, Ash Tyler signed for a big money deal until the end of 2022. 2021, they reject Adam Reynolds. 2022, Taylor leaves for the Warriors. That same year, Jamal Ferguty goes to Canberra. In 2023, Tom Weaver makes his debut. 2024, you following me here? 2024, the Titans let Toby Sexton go for Tanner Boyd. Then the same year, Kieran Foran was brought in for experience. A year later, Tanner Boyd ends up going to the Warriors. Kieran Foran retires, and November 1, they're looking to retain Jaden Campbell, who they've moved plenty of positions.
Okay, so I just want to read you a definition, guys.
Okay, of?
A masochist is a person who derives pleasure from receiving pain or humiliation. In regards to sevens of the Titans, I think they might be masochists. Because they have had so many opportunities to keep the year they let go of Fogarty, they made the finals for the first time in nearly a decade. Yeah. And they told, you know what's crazy? They didn't even tell their club captain. He had to find out from someone else that they were moving on to Sexton. Matter of fact, this year, I think the top 4 halves, and look, granted, I'm not going to put crap on them for Hughes. It's a different situation, but it's still a stat. It's still a stat.
Yeah,
the top 4 halves at one point were all from the Gold Coast Titans.
Hughes, Fogarty, Boyd, Sexton.
Yeah, and look, I'm not sitting there saying Tanner Boyd set the world up, but it's still a terror. It's still a funny stat. But like, what other club has that stat in a key position they need? Like, it's I feel sorry for the Titans fans because although, the old joke is there's not many of them, like they're still getting down there every single week. They're still supporting them. I will say the Gold Coast Stadium, most underrated stadium in Australia. There, I said it.
It is cool.
I said it. That's all I take. Don't crucify me in the text. I know there's some stadium fans out there that won't like that one. There's huge Accor fans out there that will kill me for it. The one bloke in Australia that likes playing at Accor.